Great. So first of all, thank you all for coming. Thank you to our Youth Council members. We have Tasha, Daniel and Chris joining us today. And a big thank you to Steve Garland, who's the chair of our LWT Trustee Board, for being with us. I won't talk for long. I will now pass on to Daniel, who will introduce our Youth Council. And I hope you enjoy meeting these young people as much as I have working with them this year. If you have any further opportunities or questions and you want them to get involved, please do get in touch with myself. I'll put my email in the chat box at the side. And on to you, Daniel. I will share my screen, Daniel, for the presentation.
Yeah, well, hello everyone. It's great to see where everyone's come from. We've got some people from Ulster Wildlife, from Somerset, Warwickshire, Montgomeryshire. Oh, the chat's gone. Hertfordshire, London, Albert Future, yep, Surrey. More from Albert Future, yep, amazing. All right, yeah, it's great to have so much engagement with so many different people. So I'm just here to talk to you a little bit about what we do as the Youth Council. So we're a group of 11 people currently. We're ranging from 13 to 25. We're hoping to expand to 15 people soon, so that's exciting. So we're on the Youth Council for a year. We started in March, and so you can find us on the Lancashire Wildlife Trust website. So we've put our little bios on there, so you can get to know us a bit more or see what we've been up to. But so we've been really proactive already so far, and it's only been a few months. We've been involved on different campaigns on. So we've been involved in No Mow May, which is to lock up your mows for the whole of May, and the Peat Free campaign as well. And then also for this month, we've been involved in 30 Days Wild. So there's me in the corner talking about how I've planted up my wildflower sort of plants. And there's a really great video that we've all collaborated on, which is really fun. So I'd recommend giving that a watch. So yeah, we're hoping to help raise awareness and talk current issues to members across Lancashire, and just to see, just show them how they can take action. And so we've been able to talk to MPs and local authorities about No Mow May. We've been using the leaflet or using the sort of infographic in the top left corner for that. That's been quite successful. We've had a lot of responses, which has been really great to see. So one of our main goals is to have more of a role in the Wildlife Trust and its policies. So it's really great to have the support from Steve Garland, who's from the Board of Trustees. So thanks for him, and thanks to all you as well for coming to this talk. It's great to also, yes, we've had a lot of support from the senior management team and also the CEO of Lancashire Wildlife Trust as well. So I'll be passing on to Chris now, I think, or are we Steve talking first? But sorry.
Yeah, we'll just pass on to Steve.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much there, Daniel. All I want to say is when I took over as chair, one of my targets was to try and diversify our board and get a lot more voices heard and a lot more diversity having an input into the direction of the trust in future. It's been quite a slow process to make these changes, but I've taken a keen interest in the development of the Youth Council from day one and tried to get involved wherever I can, because it's been a completely new activity for Lancashire Wildlife Trust. And I have to say, the meetings are always tremendous fun as well. Having set it up, I'm now really keen to get it embedded in the work we do. And this meeting really is part of that. We're beginning to get ideas of how the members of the Youth Council can get more involved in driving the trust forward, because we need them. There's a lot of challenges ahead, and it's going to be, we need everyone we can get to help. And a few of them have attended some of our meetings already to get an idea of how we run. And despite coming to things like the Council and Conservation Committee and various other meetings, it hasn't put them off. And in fact, they've become even more enthusiastic. So I'm looking forward to working with them in the future. And I hope today will be really interesting. Thanks. Pass over now to Chris.
Thank you very much, Steve. Yeah, my name's Chris. Hi, everyone. I'm from Crosby in Merseyside, but I also spend quite a lot of time where my partner lives in a different part of the Lancashire Wildlife Trust in Bolton. I graduated last year with an integrated master's in Earth and Environmental Science at Lancaster, which is where I developed like a really passionate, a real passion for connecting people with their environment when I was president of the hiking club there, where we ran wellbeing walks that engaged young people with the environment and seeing how that benefits mental health. And since graduating, I've been working with the Liverpool Methodist Church as a community development worker. And through the projects that I've run, I've used my passions to help engage the church community with the environment through schemes like Eco Church, as well as getting the church to grow their own wheat and wildflowers, which is the one thing we've been able to do in lockdown. But yeah, with the trust, I've been volunteering at my local nature reserve here at Lunt for the last couple of months, which has been a fantastic experience for me to gain practical conservation skills and to give back to the reserve that has really been a lifesaver throughout lockdown. And yeah, joining the Youth Council has been an amazing part of this journey as well, being part of a group of like-minded individuals that are passionate like me to see more young people be connected with the environment that we are blessed to have on our doorstep here in Lancashire. And I saw this as a great chance to represent the importance of young people in environmental campaigning, but also to gain invaluable experience in the practicalities of how an organisation such as this works, and so that more people can be empowered to contribute. I've been proud to play a part so far in the Trust's campaigns such as Peat Free and No Mow May, as well as represent my local reserve and social media and blog writing. And I look forward to meeting more people in person soon and seeing how we can help more young people see that connecting with nature on our doorsteps is so important for our well-being and health, but also for our economy and our fight against climate change and for social justice, and seeing how we can enable them to engage more with the environment. So, yeah, thank you. I think I'm passing on to Tasha now.
Hi, thanks, Chris. You've been up to so much. It sounds so good. This is why I'm so excited to meet everyone in person, because obviously we've all been online at the moment. So I'm Tasha. I'm currently based in Salford, and I'm a science technician at a school in Trafford. So both those areas. I spent about 4 years in Bangor, North Wales, getting my degree. So you can imagine that's a really beautiful area and lots of nature. Moving to Manchester was a bit different, not so much nature. But I still carry that really strong passion for getting people outside. At Bangor, I ran the North Wales Amphibian and Reptile Group, which is a volunteer group where we did lots of practical conservation and engagement work. Due to the fact that it was based in Bangor with the university, it was very much basically a youth group, although we did spend about 2 years working really hard to get other local people involved, which at the moment has stuck, so fingers crossed. I have a massive passion for amphibians. They could be the rarest bird in the world flying in the sky, but I will still be looking down for toads and frogs. That's been since childhood and has stuck with me all the way through. Joining the Youth Council has been great. I think we've got loads done so far. No Mow May was super exciting. It's been great to see the responses and see how open councils are to little changes, and then sort of get in your head, well, if they're open to not mowing their grass for a couple months, what else can they be open to? What else can we sort of ask them to do really nicely and for free? It's been great to have the sort of sense of purpose and drive that has come with joining the Youth Council. Just being a part of a group and being able to organise campaigns and bounce ideas off each other is already so much more than you get from just sitting at home and being, well, you know, my local park is looking a bit run down and, you know, people aren't looking after the bird populations, what can I do? But you join a group of people and it's tenfold. One of my biggest things at the moment is accessibility to green spaces, and especially for those from less fortunate backgrounds, it's really important that while green spaces and having access to nature is great for your mental health, not everyone can access green spaces as easy as other people. You know, not everyone has a driving license, not everyone has 2 parents that are off on the weekend. So it's really important that as young people, we sort of bring up these issues that maybe older people or people in government might have forgotten is an issue if it doesn't affect them directly. You know, if something doesn't affect you directly, you don't always remember that it's an issue. So hopefully the Youth Council can drive forward issues that are sometimes overlooked, and while might seem small or quite big to young people, it'd be really good to just sort of push people to getting into nature and push forward campaigns that are smaller, but because there are more of us and we have time and we volunteered our time, small campaigns can have a big impact. So that's what I'm hoping to get from the Youth Council. I'll pass forward to Daniel as he's drinking water. I'm sorry, Daniel.
Okay, it's fine. I tried to get in there just before, but I'm Daniel. I first started volunteering, I think it's been 3 years now or something. So I was doing that during my degree at university, and at the minute I'm on my placement year, so I've taken a year out, and I got really involved with the trust on the peatland site, so around Salford, and I was fortunate enough to be able to take the placement year with the Carbon Landscape. So they're an organisation which work with lots of other charities and trusts around the area of like Wigan, Salford and Greater Manchester. And so whilst I'm on this placement, I've been outside quite a lot. I've been able to get out and get my hands dirty and get in nature and help to restore it, which has been really great. And so I found out about the Youth Council and thought it was a great opportunity to develop my campaigning skills and just make even more of an impact and a change in my local area. And as Chris was talking about, collaborating with like-minded people is really important. So it's been really great to get involved in these local campaigns and just help to promote it on social media and talk to a lot of people about these issues and things that are really important to us and we really need to take more seriously, and hopefully we can make like social change. And I know that works quite well with the Wildlife Trust's values of trying to get people involved and get this movement happening and people getting more involved in nature. And so it's been really great to be able to do that by talking to local MPs and local councils and universities about No More May when we're doing that. And it was really great to hear people's responses, because it was really good to see that people are interested and want to get more involved. And it's really great that we have this voice now, we have this group of people, and it just feels like we can just take on the world. It's so great because we're all like-minded individuals, and we're all really keen and have all these really great fresh ideas that are great to be able to use this platform that we've been given by the Lancashire Wildlife Trust to be able to do this in our area. And so far it's been really great, and I can't wait to do even more. I think we'll pass back on to Steve now.
Okay, thanks. Just remember to unmute myself. Thanks very much for that. And as we said at the start, I'm now going to ask a few questions for response from the Youth Council members. And for all of you listening, if you've got any questions this generates or things you would like to know more about, just pop them in the chat, and they'll be looked at, and we may ask some of those as supplementary things in a little while. So just to kick us off, a nice broad question: why should young people be included in decisions and governance within Lancashire Wildlife Trust? Who would like to start that one? Just wave your hand, or
do you want to start, Chris?
Tasha's put her hand up.
Sorry, go on, Tasha. Yeah, go on. Yeah, I was willing to start, but I wanted to let someone else start.
No, I was just going to say, young people are a fantastic resource. Let's face it, we've got time, buckets of it, especially at the moment in lockdown. And, you know, like Daniel said, we're really keen, we're eager, we're at that age where If you're in the youth council, you're already interested in the sector, you want to see what you can do in it, you want to see how you can change it. So we don't pass up opportunities. We don't say, oh, we'll do it next week. We try to get stuff done immediately. Is that a little bit of a sense to try sort of prove ourselves? Probably, but because we're just full of energy, I think that we've got the time to take on campaigns that maybe the Lancashire Wildlife Trust don't have all the time to invest in, or it's not a big enough issue to justify a full-on campaign, where the Youth Council is this great resource that, you know, is free and is willing to work.
Excellent. Anyone else like to add to that?
I was just going to say possibly that I think, like, historically, young people have maybe been kind of underestimated and assuming that they're less passionate or less interested in the environment, especially with the modern age of technology and video games and things. It's quite often that people just cast off young people, or they didn't have in the past. Whereas I find even now I feel quite old. I'm 23 now, and I know that my partner's nephew, he's not just about to join high school, and I'll ask him about some nature questions that he's learned in school. He knows more than me, and it's quite, I think, using those kind of skills that young people that we're really not aware of what they're learning now and the information they're taking in. If we were to not use that, it would be quite naive of us, not the children themselves and the young people. So that's like the way we get a legacy of the future and things, is that it's by using that information, those fresh ideas, and it'd be silly not to, really. Yeah.
Right. What do you think stopped this involvement in the past?
I think it comes with the assumption that young people, we don't always have the highest level of qualifications. We don't have years of experience. So that tends to have people disregard your opinions. If you don't have 5, 10 years in the industry, what do you know? It's like, well, we don't have that experience in the industry, but we see the issues happening and we want to do something about it. So why waste the resource?
I feel like it's been ingrained in us. I feel like our whole life has been, we've got this climate emergency, we need to solve it. So I feel like it's almost been, my whole life has been like gearing up towards trying to be good for the environment and trying to like inspire other people and show other people that this is an important issue. Like I feel like I'm surrounded by it all the time. So I just really, really want to do my best and just try and help the best way I can, I think.
Excellent. Anish, I noticed you've managed to join us.
Yes, I was going to say that. Anish, would you like to introduce yourselves? I'm so sorry. You're coming all the way from India, and are you not?
Yeah. So I'm studying zoology at the University of Manchester, but I've been stuck at home since the last 1 year because of the pandemic. So I got interested in wildlife because I've been exposed to it always. Like within a city, we can find a lot of different species like elephants, black bucks, tigers. We have to go a little far, but it's not too far across. So yeah, that's how my interest in conservation really built up.
Okay, great. We've started. I didn't notice exactly when you joined, but we've started me asking a few questions of the youth council group. So do wave your hand if you want to give an answer. Okay. Let's just move on to the next question I've got, really, which is what goals are youth council hoping to achieve in 2021? What have you been talking about as your priorities? Who'd like to start that one?
I don't mind starting a bit.
I would say, Daniel, you look like you're about to speak.
Yeah, I think there's that awkward bit where I'm like, to make sure no one else is trying to speak so I don't talk over everyone. But yeah, we've talked quite a lot about getting involved in, just getting more involved with Lancashire Wildlife Trust and the Peat Free campaign, even more. We've had the really great news at the minute about the ban on the peat free that will eventually come into effect, which is really great news to hear about that. But we're not letting that stop us. We're really interested in talking and looking more, maybe getting more involved with the My Wild Mersey campaign as well, and also looking at creating some of our own little campaigns, like so we can have some sort of like grassroots campaigns that we're really interested to look further into as we progress throughout the year.
Excellent. Who else has got something they're looking forward to this year in the work of the Youth Council?
Yeah, we've been up to a lot. I mean, we've kicked off 30 Day Wild really well. I think there's an amazing video on the MyPlace Instagram that other Youth Council members have put together, and it's just fantastic. Day one, 30 Day Wild, we're starting off strong and we're going to keep it going. Grassroots campaigns are going to be really exciting. I think it would be great as a goal for the Youth Council to just be a place for young people to bring issues to do with the environment. You know, people don't always know where to put their questions, where to put things that they want action on, and it'd be great if the Youth Council could become this sort of place for fellow young people to bring environmental issues that they want actions on, but they don't have the time to do it. That's something we can do.
Yeah,
Excellent. Yes, go on, Chris.
Sorry, Steve. Yeah, I really agree with that in terms of like that empowering young people. If we have an opportunity to do that as young people and kind of as ambassadors for the trust in any way, because I think one stat that I heard was that 84% of surveyed young people in the country need more information, they feel, to prevent climate change and things like that. So I think, and I know there's like issues of like climate change anxiety and things like that. So just giving people like an empowerment and like a pragmatic solution of a place where they feel like they can contribute and have hope and not kind of be, oh, what can we do? It's all doom and gloom, I think is a very exciting thing that the Youth Council can be a part of in the next year and the years to come with future young men and women. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Chris. Anish?
To add on to that, so there's a lot of disconnect between the urban youth with the genuine wildlife and environmental issues. So at least in India, like I know a lot of like people in cities, they don't really know much about the environmental issues. And also, as a youth council, we can really work towards educating people our age, which can really make a big difference.
That's a really good point. It's one of the big challenges we've been talking about a lot in the Wildlife Trust for a number of years, is making more impact in urban areas. We do pretty well, but there's lots of scope for improvement. So we'll look forward to working with you on that one. I mean, I'm going to add one of my objectives for the Youth Council this year, which is to get you properly embedded in the work that the Trust is doing, because you've kind of been involved on the periphery, but I think the time has come to find formal ways for you to be part of some of the processes that are going on in the Trust. So that's one of my personal aims for the Youth Council this year. Excellent. Anybody anything more to add there? Okay. Next question I was going to ask you is, it's kind of related to that really, which is how will the Youth Council be used as an asset for Lancashire Wildlife Trust work and campaigns? I suppose this is coming back to what you're going to bring to it. You know, you've mentioned, one of you mentioned already certain skills and things that might be lacking, but I just wonder if there's specific areas that some of you have got your eyes on.
Yeah, I mean, we started off doing a lot of social media work, Instagram takeovers and that great 30 Day Wild video, sort of digital skills that maybe the Trust doesn't have an abundance of. Obviously, we've grown up with it. It's basically embedded in us at this point. That's sort of an asset that the Trust is excited to use, hopefully. Personally, I'm quite interested in sort of less fortunate aspects of society and connecting with those groups, like Anish said, urban areas, not knowing much about environmental issues. A lot of the times they're not given the chance to, they don't have the choice. If you don't have a green space, how are you supposed to know about environmental issues if you haven't seen a duck in 10 years? So really important to bring people into nature and bring nature to people. You can't tell someone to move to the countryside and then care about nature. If you bring nature into the city, then hopefully they'll get it there. And we've got loads of energy. We're keen. We've got the time, and these grassroots campaigns that we're hopefully going to start setting up soon. Once we meet everyone in person, it'll be great to just sort of get lots of smaller campaigns going, and maybe they'll end up being bigger campaigns used across the trust, which would be really exciting.
Yes, one of the 3 big objectives of the Wildlife Trust nationally is this connecting people with nature, getting people to take action for nature, and it's probably the most challenging target we're setting ourselves. So we're going to need lots of ideas from everybody on how to do that, because it's a massive, massive challenge. Yeah, great. Who'd like to? Anish, Daniel?
Also,
Anish? Yeah.
I think because many of us are still studying or just graduated, so we do have a lot of exposure to universities and colleges. So I believe we've already started working with a few of them with our No More May campaign. So I'm sure with the corona situation improving, we can involve universities more in our campaigns.
That's great. I mean, for those of you involved with universities and colleges, do you think that there's a good awareness of what we do as a wildlife trust in the academic institutes? Do you think we've room for improvement there?
I would say our professors are pretty aware, but there's a general problem with most sustainability initiatives in our university. So I was the environmental officer of my student union. So most students, although they were interested in participating in sustainable campaigns, they had no idea about where to get involved, like which charity to get involved, what university initiative. So I believe as a youth council member, we can certainly help bridge this lack of awareness.
Yeah, great. Chris, you were going to say something?
Oh, yeah, one thing I was thinking, just similar to what Anish said there about being like a bridge, which I think is quite a good way that the Youth Council could be a good asset for the Lancashire Wildlife Trust, and that it can benefit kind of the decision makers within the trust and within other organisations, and that we're kind of setting an example of how young people can be trusted with responsibility and with kind of helping in campaigns. But then it's also a bridge to the other side of like young people that feel like they don't have the kind of power or the kind of interest or ability to take part in climate and environment action. So it's a good kind of bridge that kind of meets the two. I feel like the Youth Council can hopefully be an asset towards the Wildlife Trust in months to come. Yeah.
Great. Daniel, do you want to add anything as well?
Yeah, I mean, I just echo everyone's points that I think that it's the first, like the major barrier I found when I was first getting into conservation and volunteering was finding out about it. And as soon as you're like exposed or open up to this world, like there's just, I mean, they'll never let you go really, but in the nicest of ways. But like, it's really great because you find all these connections and have all these links and all these contacts and stuff in this area, and then you realize how much of like how much there is out there and how much there is to actually do. But it's that first step that I think needs a lot of encouragement, and I think we're perfectly placed to help encourage people to do that, because I think there are a lot of people that want to get involved, they just don't know how to get involved. And I think we're a good asset for that, because it's great that we've got this platform that we can show to other young people this is how you get involved, and everyone's voices are really important and welcome, and we can help inspire more people to get involved.
Yeah, I mean, to me, one of the other things I think you all bring is just giving us a little bit more of a sense of urgency to what we're doing. I mean, it's something that I've realized more and more in recent years. Somebody mentioned about, isn't it wonderful we're getting a ban on peat? Well, it's been like 20, 30 years since we've been trying to get a ban on peat, and we've been very complacent. You know, it should have happened sooner. When I was at university, I learnt about climate change and global warming. The science has changed a little bit since then, but it's not exactly a new issue that's come on the scene. And again, it's only now we're beginning to take it more urgently. I do find, from personal experience, younger people seem to give us more of a focus on just get something happening now. Don't talk about it anymore. So that's something I think you're bringing definitely that I can see. Have we had any questions in the chat box? I've not really been looking.
Yes, we have.
Loads.
Yeah, I'll read through them. And just to add on, all your points are great there, but you're already being used as an asset. They'll be sitting in on marketing consultations to get younger members, which is how we fund the Wildlife Trust. Like, the work you're already doing is you have been an asset already to the trust. So yep. I'd give yourself credit for that and don't be too modest. Yeah, so if you want to look at the chat, Steve, but I'll start us off with a question from Dawn. I don't know if you want to unmute yourself and ask it, or if you prefer for me to just read it out loud.
Just read it out, it's fine, thanks.
Okay. So Dawn has asked, what do you think has made the difference to inspire you into action compared with other young people who aren't as interested in environmental issues?
I think
yeah, go on, Chris.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think personally, I think it's down to kind of like upbringing and family and environment, which is a privilege and is also a bit of a shame. And that, like, it's had to that's how I've come across it. I think that's how it's where the Lancashire Wildlife Trust is, where education and schools can come in, is where it should be something that we're surrounded by and connected to from a young age anyway, because like I've had, my dad's a very keen bird watcher and I've been a keen walker all my life for things, but that's just been down to my family's circumstances, where I think if we're given more opportunity for young people through schools and education and through extracurricular stuff to engage with the environment, I think that's the way forward. Yeah.
It's quite interesting, Chris, because I was going to say sort of the opposite, in the sense of I'm not from a very fortunate background. I'm from a single parent family and moved around a lot. Nature was the sort of constant for me. You know, you're moving from town to town and, you know, county to county. You know, but nature in Wales looks almost the same as nature in England and Scotland. And it's that sort of constant in life that was really comforting. And I don't want it to go away. I want to keep ponds and I want to keep frogs and toads in my life, and I want to make sure that future generations have that, because, you know, when you don't have a lot, when you're not going to the zoo or you're not going abroad, you know, your local National Trust or Wildlife Trust nature reserve is all you have. You want to work really hard to protect it. And I think it should be not just for the fortunate, it should be for everyone. Everyone should have access to nature, as I was lucky enough to.
Okay, great. One of the other questions we had from Dawn is, what do you think has made the difference to inspire you into action compared with other young people who aren't interested in environmental issues?
That was the question we just answered, wasn't
it? Was it? Sorry.
I could say a little bit. I was going to say about, I think it's exposure to nature. I think that's the main factor for anyone. I don't think it necessarily depends on how fortunate or unfortunate upbringing you've had. I think it's that exposure to the outside world. I think that's really important, because it's almost like working in that space or living in that space, and you have that sort of ownership over it, and you're very much aware that you really should be doing your best to try and conserve it, because it's not necessarily forever, and it's that sort of urgency that you find and instill from being out in nature and talking with like-minded people that really gets me, and I think the rest of the youth council and other people involved, and I guess a lot of yourselves as well, if you're interested in nature, that it's that communication and being out in nature that really like makes us really want to help conserve it.
Okay, great. Yes, the question I should have asked from Roberta, which is, are you planning to engage and collaborate with other youth councils set up by trusts and maybe other environmental groups? Maybe you are already, I don't know.
I don't think we have any concrete plans yet.
No.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, the more of us there are, the more that we can do. Link
Sorry,
up with
Tasha, that might be a question for me, and we definitely are. That's something to share, though.
Oh, it's already happening in the background.
And I suppose anybody from other trusts who's involved in something like this, who isn't involved with us already, afterwards get in touch.
I will just add that the London Wildlife Trust is here, I think, and they're hoping to set up a youth council. So I'm sure our youth council would love to consult with you on that.
Excellent. There's a question here which I think is probably really largely for me, which is from Joanna, which is, how does the feedback and relationship work between the youth council and the trustees and senior management team? I think, as I sort of hinted earlier on, it's kind of work in progress, in that members of youth council have been involved with most of our committees. They're now getting involved with working groups within the trust as well. And we're kind of, rather than rushing in with a pre-idea of exactly how it should all work, we're trying to do it gently, really, rather than just saying, oh, we'll have a youth council seat on the board, or we'll have a youth council seat here. I want it to be more embedded in that. And my view as chair is that the youth council needs to be looking at these things. They've sat in on them all now. They've got some idea, and they're going to sit in on some more in future. They're getting some idea of how it all works. And we've got to find a way that it works for them and works for us. The big challenge I have as chair with something like this is, and I have the same challenge with my trustees, which is some people work, some people don't work, some people are students, some people have got childcare issues. And so just organising a meeting that everybody can attend, even virtually, can be a challenge. But it's not impossible. And we've started looking, I mean, great thing about lockdown is it started lots of lateral thinking on how you can meet, how you can get people engaged without them necessarily having to be there. So I'm hoping that there'll be a lot of opportunities for engagement that we maybe didn't think of before. I don't know if anybody else has like to add something to that from your point of view in terms of what engagement you've had and what you might be looking forward to in future, or what you think might be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to sitting in our meetings. Obviously I work, so getting into meetings is one of the issues, but that's one of the great things about the Youth Council, I think, is that sort of experience that you don't get from other volunteer groups, is you get this more of an in-depth look, which is exciting just to look at. So having the opportunity to be a part of it and ask for our ideas is already really exciting. That's just something I'm looking forward to, is being more involved in more decision making and more important decision making is always really exciting.
Yeah, that's good. We've got a very good question here from Bobby, I think, which is, as a young person, what advice would you give to another wildlife trust wanting to set up their own youth council? You know, how do you get started? Who'd like to try and answer that one? Or maybe Eleanor would want to do that, I don't know.
My first thought is get out there on social media. I think that's the main point of contact for a lot of young people. So starting an online campaign, or just having like a sort of a Facebook group or anything like that I think a lot of people will get involved with and get inspired with. And I think especially at the minute when you can't really meet outside in big groups, it's really the best way forward for the sort of, and to get a sort of momentum, or like a petition or something like that, just to get people involved and just talking about it. Because I think the interest is out there, it's just connecting with people.
Exactly, I agree with Daniel there. And I think, when I saw the advert for the youth council, I was like, oh, like, and immediately was like, that's something I'd love to do. And I think it's just, if you're thinking of doing a youth council thing with another wildlife trust, I think just getting the idea out there. I'm sure you'll get loads of people flooding in because they didn't realize there's things like that available. So just getting the message out there and starting the ball rolling, I'm sure will lead to it growing in a very kind of dynamic and natural way that would be really good for everyone.
To add on to that, there are quite a few social media pages on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook which solely advertise.
So social media is obviously quite important. I mean, did all of you, were you members of the Wildlife Trust before you joined Youth Council, or did you hear of it outside and then get involved? You're breaking up a little bit, Anish, I'm afraid.
Outside.
Keep trying. No, keep going.
Yep. So I was not a member of the Lancashire Wildlife Trust before this. I found out about it through social media. So yeah, for me personally, I find a lot of this volunteering opportunities through two or three conservation pages. So those pages would be a great point to start recruiting members.
You're nodding as well there, Daniel. Were you you joined? You saw about the Youth Council before you got involved with the trust, did you?
Well, so I was just agreeing with his points. They're all great, really great points. Personally, for me, it was through my university I found out about it. So I had a placements coordinator who was very forward on sending out group emails to all of us pupils talking about volunteering opportunities. Because I actually started through tree planting, and then quite quickly turned to peatlands, which is managing birch scrub. So it's kind of all over the place. But it's really important to get them links, I think, with schools and stuff. I think ingraining it at a younger age is a really important tool to be able to get people's engagement and just awareness of the issues and stuff. And then it just sets them up for life, really.
Excellent.
I might just jump on the end there, because we will have to wrap up in a second. But if anybody has been inspired today or in the process of setting up a youth council, please do get in touch with me. My email is in the chat box, and we can further this conversation, and we can have meetings with our current youth council. There's 11 members, and I'm sure that all the ones here today would love to join. Tasha's nodding, and Daniel, so yeah. And we can help you set up your youth council, say what was effective, what you've enjoyed being on the youth council, what you haven't enjoyed. So you can start at a really good point for other wildlife trusts. And I think somebody has mentioned setting up a working group across all wildlife trusts, and that would be fantastic.
That sounds like a great idea. And there are several messages in there from people who are either in the process or seriously thinking of setting one up. So it might be just worth putting, is your email fairly low down? It just, yes, it is. It's fairly close down there, so you can find it. It's all right. They sometimes shoot up in all the chat, and then it's useful to put them in again. Right. In terms of the discussion today, I hope it's been quite useful. I've really enjoyed listening to some of our youth council members' thoughts and some of the reasons why they're all such a passionate group, which is brilliant. As I keep saying, it is work in progress. Although the Youth Council has been going a few years and it's achieved massive amounts, and I have to say, going to some of the meetings is absolutely inspiring is the word, because sometimes I hear a viewpoint on subjects that I've not had before, and that's why I'm committed to this developing more, in that those interesting viewpoints need to be heard by all our board of trustees and our senior managers as well. So that's why it's so important that the Youth Council becomes just an integral part of the organisation and what we do. So I think in terms of wrapping up the day, could I just thank everybody for attending today? I don't know what the final total was, about 30 people, I think. Excellent that people have joined us from all over the UK by the look of it. Excellent that Anish managed to join us from India in the end. Well, it must be quite late at night for you there, I would think, at the moment. And thanks to all the members of the Youth Council for coming along and talking to us.
Not too late, but
yeah. And thanks, Eleanor and the team, for getting this set up and making it run so smoothly. So as was said, this has been recorded, so it will be available for, if you tell other people how interesting it was, they want to see it, it'll be there and accessible.
Yes, thank you so much, Steve, for coming and for being part of this. I'm sure the Youth Council really appreciate all your support, and the Trustee Board support as well. And as Emma Bartlett, who's here, set up the Youth Council, so thank you to her and to Our Bright Futures, who fund the Youth Council and who fund our projects. So they've been amazing along the way as well.
Yes, I should have thanked Emma. She's been a stalwart right the way through.
Could I ask you all just a final thought, a final piece of advice, or what your favourite thing of the Youth Council has been so far? And Steve can also join in on this.
On, who's starting?
Yeah, go on, I'll start. I'll do the easy one, but it's also like one of the main reasons is just meeting all the like-minded people, just having great conversations and just getting inspired off each other is really great. Just the big force that we have all together is amazing.
Yeah, I think it's great to know that, I'm not the only one crazy about toads, or I'm not the only one, planting wildflowers everywhere and, recording every animal I see. It's great to know that there are others out there, and hopefully we can all meet in person soon and get so much more done than we'll ever be able to do online.
Yeah, so I'm quite excited about just this event. Really has shown that there's a big kind of demand for it and people are interested in doing a similar kind of youth thing. I think that's just quite exciting, to be a part in helping that and seeing how that grows in the next few years, months, if not very soon, really. Yeah, so can't wait.
I would say it's a good exposure to conservation issues which I would not otherwise be exposed to, like the peat project and the No More May. Like I would not have been involved in such projects otherwise. More towards the pure
Yeah. From my point of view, I mean, there've been one or two sessions at meetings I've been to, which I know I've used the word inspirational before, but I remember one person telling us about how they'd taken personal action at their local supermarket to challenge the use of plastic. So I listened to that and thought, wow, that takes real confidence. I'm not even sure I'd have done that, and it's just so impressive. And I suppose just to the bottom line really is, I just wish there'd been something like this going when I was younger. It's the movement was much fustier and more difficult to penetrate, and it was definitely a bit of an ivory tower thing of experts and wasn't so welcoming when I was young. But I suppose enthusiasm breaks through in the end, and I never gave up. But hopefully the door's a bit wider ajar now, and you're all finding it a bit more welcoming. Well, I hope so anyway. Right. Okay, Eleanor. Shall we wrap up the meeting?
Yes, yeah, the official close. Yeah, so everybody can go home on time.
Yeah, well, there's nothing like a meeting that finishes on time, is there? That's good.
I know, you've all done fab, keeping to the time.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been brilliant. It's been great to see you all again. Next time, I hope it'll be in person. Bye.
Yeah.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.